Happy New Year. Trust the Profits. This is the formula here. Wishing you a Happy New Year and also bringing to you a full field breakdown of the fifth season stakes. This will be a race that'll be run on January 14th at Oaklawn Park. 150K, 8 furlong, that's a mile, on dirt with 10 horses that we are projecting right now to be in the race. I do want to note that I have not run this through my model yet. I will be doing so later, hopefully. This is just my own handicapping. Taking a look at the 10 horses here. Also to note that the jockeys are historically connected to these horses, not necessarily the ones that will be running in this race. So we're taking our best guess at this time. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? GINOBLI. So 2022 only ran the one race, ran an allowance race at Del Mar, lost by a neck to Get Her Number. Second place finish, obviously, for him. 2021 was a bigger year for Ginobili. More impressive that year, obviously, having run more races. A second place finish in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. A first place finish at the Pat O'Brien, that's a G2. Uh, Looked pretty good until he got a sixth place finish at the Cigar Mile. That's when he took about a year off. California horse, mostly running at Del Mar and Santa Anita. A little weird to see him at Oaklawn Park, although he has run there before in 2020. Not super impressive, but that was also about 3 years ago. So really hard to say that that's going to have any impact here. Ginobili, the California horse, first one we're going through. And then we move on to King Fury. In 2022, ran 5 races with 2 third-place finishes. Ran a bunch of G2s. The Fiat, a 9 furlong race, finished fourth by 11 lengths behind Willpower, Folsom, Last Samurai. The Lucas, more impressive race, I guess you could say. A 9 furlong race, finished 4 lengths behind Rich Strike and Hot Rod Charlie, just by the competition. A bit more of an impressive finish, even though it was third. Recently came in fifth at the Tinsel Stakes at Oaklawn, 9 furlong race, 7 lengths back of the winner there. Going from 9 furlong races to an 8 furlong race, maybe he gets a little bit of a bump because of that. King Fury. Rated R Superstar. So Matt DeSantis here on our channel is talking about Rated R Superstar recently. 9 races, 4 wins in 2022 for the horse. 2022, his most profitable year yet, 600K last year. What did Matt DeSantis talk about? Well, this is almost a 10-year-old horse. He'll be 10 in March or April, I believe. And he just won the Jeffrey A. Hawk Stakes, a 1 mile and 70-yard race at Remington by half a length. So just a really impressive horse to see. A lot of people thought that he might be trailing downward because 2022, he did have an up and down year. Yeah, he had the 4 wins, but he had a lot of finishes in the rest of those 5 races where he finished outside of the money, up and down. So previous to that finish, he did struggle at the Governor's Cup, um, or at the Green Stakes, and won the Governor's Cup before that. At the Green Stakes, he finished way back. So really hard to judge this horse here based on age. Is he declining? Can we really base this off of the previous win based on him being up and down? I'm not exactly sure what to think of Rated R Superstar, but we'll come up on that in the conclusion. Silver Prospector, I would say, other than Ginobili, probably the most decorated or maybe the highest class horse in this race. Silver Prospector, 2022, finished in the money half the time. 1 win, 1 second place, 2 thirds, mainly racing in G3 races. Most recently in October, the 6th place finish at the ACAC Stakes. 8 furlong race at Churchill Downs. He was 6 lengths behind Senior Buscador and company in that. It was a pretty stacked race. Finished 4 lengths back. Third at the West Virginia Governors behind Folsom. Gonna hear Folsom a lot. A lot of horses glad he is not in this race. Last win was the Lone Star, winning the Steve Sexton Mile by 1.5 lengths, passing Mish down the stretch. Steve Asmussen horse, Silver Prospector, definitely a consideration. Soy Tapatio. I'll call him Soy Tap from now on just to make sure I don't screw up that pronunciation. In 2022, 12 races. He had 7 of those finishing in the money, including 5 wins for Soy Tap. Got about a race per month under trainer Robert Diodoro. Most recently, the winner of the Zia Park Championship, a 9 furlong affair, won by 1 length there. Previous to that, was unable to close out a 10 furlong race. Speed to Spare Championship, losing by a neck to Add Attention. But we're talking some pretty considerable distances here. It's a winning horse, tends to stalk, and is a really strong closer. However, in the cases where he does lose, he seems to get caught in the back of the pack, unable to make those strong closeouts. But Soy Tapatio, definitely a high consideration for this race based on what he was able to do in 2022. Moving on, Heart Rhythm. Here's a horse that finished in the money 7 times last year out of 10 attempts, 3 wins. Most recently, a third place, 5 length behind finish, behind Surveillance in the Shearer Stakes, 6 furlong affair at Fairgrounds. Finished behind Surveillance previous to that, half length behind at the Thanksgiving Classic, another 6 furlong race. Won the 140K allowance race in October, again 6 furlongs, by 1 length over Hear My Song and South Bend. Last time he raced a mile though, June at Churchill Downs, finishing third, 4 lengths behind Caddo River. He's had some success at Oaklawn, almost all 6 furlong races. Going up to 8 furlongs, I'm not exactly sure how to judge him or whether I'm going to judge him favorably. He is a 6 furlong closer. Interesting horse here based on his ability to run those 6 furlong races. I think there's some other horses in this race, however, that are going to fare better at 1 mile, including Running Ray. I really like this horse. 7 races last year, 3 wins, 1 second place, 2 thirds. Most recently came fifth in an allowance race, 8.5 furlongs at CD Churchill Downs. It was a fifth place finish, but he was around a length behind the winner. It was a really tight race between the top 5 horses, Farmington Road being the winner in that one. Ran in third in the Schaefer Stakes, 1 mile, 70 yards after stumbling out of the gate. Had the lead for a little while in that one, ended up yielding at the end, but lost to Mr. Wireless and Helium in that one, so lost to pretty good company. Ran in third at the Oaklawn Mile, a G3 race, 2 lengths behind Folsom and Cezanne. Again, Folsom coming up. Um, and really good company to be in there, obviously, as well, Folsom and Cezanne. 3 wire-to-wire wins in 2022, including 2 at Oaklawn Park. He likes to run the distance, likes to run a mile. Potential pace center here with the ability to wire. So I would say keep an eye on Running Ray. Hello, Hot Rod. So in 2022, ran 9 races, 2 wins. Struggled early in 2022. So most of those favorable finishes came toward the tail end. And they also came at Remington. So he did run a number of times at Gulfstream. I think he had another race possibly at Aqueduct, one of the New York parks. I can't remember exactly which, but it really wasn't until he got to Remington when he started to finish in the money. Last race finished fourth at the Jeffrey Hawk. We talked about that one. He's 2 lengths behind Rated R Superstar. Previous to that, wire to wire finishes in allowance races at Remington. Could challenge Running Ray for the pace. Remains to be seen. Hello, Hot Rod. Got another pace setter here. Another potential challenger to the pace here is Dreamer's Disease in 2022, 5 races, 2 wins. Both of those came at Delta Downs towards the end of the year. He won the Delta Miles Stakes, a 1 length finish, but ran 11th at a 5 furlong allowance race where he pushed the pace and yielded towards the end. That was at Keeneland, I believe. Ran a similar race at CD at Churchill Downs in September. 8 furlong affair, started close to the pace, falling back to 6, 7 lengths back at the end. Could challenge for the pace there, but most likely going to fade. And then we're getting to seize the night. 2 races in 2022, 1 win, 4 races lifetime for this horse. Last was the 16th at Oaklawn, 100K allowance race, 1 mile. Went wire to wire, stretching out his lead 6.25 lengths down the stretch. Likely will need the lead in order to make a difference. 4 races under his belt, still figuring it out. Strategy here, Running Ray to win. Okay, that's my winner. And I would like to key him along with GINOBLI, Silver Prospector, and Soy Tapatio. Those are my horses there. I'm figuring that Rated R Superstar is going to end up fading in this one. It's been up and down. I figured this is probably going to be his down. So there you have it. That is my fifth season full field rundown. Thank you very much for watching. Hit subscribe if you want to know more about our membership. Hit the join button where you can get our picks week to week. And with that, I bid you adieu.